Hey everyone, welcome back to the Professor Failure channel. Before we get started on today's video, I just want to clarify that this is not a political video. This is just a video exploring our history, so sit back and enjoy the video. Happy New Year everyone, and welcome back to the Professor Failure channel. I'm your host, Professor Failure, and for the past 2 years we've been looking at ship stories, serial killer crimes, and more. So I thought we might look at the thing that started this channel, coronavirus, the biggest virus of the decade. So let's get started on the first deaths of coronavirus. So Corona was not the way that any of us had expected the year 2020 to begin. It was a real surprise when the world was locked down in fear of the virus. I can remember the day I first heard about it, and I was told I probably wouldn't be getting to see some of my family members for a while. It was also a real shock when people were losing their jobs because they were not considered essential. I can remember when schools were shut down for kids to either do homeschool or school online. It was one of the biggest things in 2020 because when people think of 2020, they think of the start of coronavirus, which is a real shame since it wasn't all bad. The reason I'm saying that is because the world somewhat healed itself. Since people weren't out littering in lakes, the lakes could finally start getting better. And they say since there were no cars or cruise ships going and working around, the ozone layer nearly healed itself in the process. Regardless, all of it was definitely life-changing for the good or bad. So let's talk about how coronavirus became coronavirus. The beginning of COVID is pretty interesting because on December 12, 2019, some patients in Wuhan, Hubei province, China, began to experience shortness of breath and fever. At first, it was nothing, but then it turned our lives around forever. And this leads us to the COVID outbreak, which we will be reviewing after this short break.
Don't you just hate crazy viruses preventing you from seeing your loved ones and friends? Well, not anymore. Introducing the one and only Felico virus. This is a new virus that will cure any virus you have or could possibly get. And for a limited time only, you can get it half of the price if you call in the next 20 minutes. And we all know that you just love finding out about all the cruel and messed up ways we make our products, so we shall tell you. We make it from the sweat, blood, and tears from our workers.
Hey, get him off of the set now. On March 11th, COVID-19 was declared a pandemic, which had been the first pandemic that we'd had in a while. People around the world were quarantined and were told to stay home and go nowhere unless of an emergency. Only people with essential jobs could stay open. Even dentists at first weren't even considered essential, so if you had a cavity, you just had a cavity. So, because of COVID, some people had to file for bankruptcy because of the lack of income. And this is where the toilet paper incidents would happen. People were barbarians when it came to toilet paper. People would even go to the lengths of stealing it from other people's carts in the store. It's honestly pretty sad, but after things settled down, you could go back to the stores, and small businesses were even opening back up. But there was a catch. You had to wear a mask. I've never heard anyone ever complain more about a mask before. The only people who weren't complaining about masks were the mask companies themselves. Also, because of coronavirus, kids had to either do virtual school or homeschool, and knowing kids, it was really hard to try to make them do school online. But one of the bigger things people started to notice was the amount of hand sanitizers they used. And even after COVID initially cooled down, people became more hygienic because of how afraid they were of catching the virus. Like I mentioned in the beginning of this video, Corona did do some good things, like I said at the beginning of this video. Since people were staying home and not taking cruises and driving their cars, pollution sort of came to a stop. And because of that, there were reports of the ozone layer nearly healing itself. And since most rivers and lakes weren't being littered in, you could actually see the bottom of some lakes. And to be honest, I think Corona did a lot of good environmentally. And I think if it weren't for Corona, then I would have never gotten to do this channel and make the friends that I got through this channel. And if it weren't for Corona, I never would have contacted Aedan to do Jack the Ripper with me. And I would have never talked to Aaron about making YouTube videos. So, in a way, I am glad it happened. I know it was really bad, and honestly, I think we should look at the pros instead of the cons. And honestly, I really do think it affected me in the best way possible. But unfortunately, because of COVID, there were 850,000 cases and over 16,000 deaths. But one thing I do think we should take away from this is maybe we should lock down at least once a month in a year. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching today's video, and thank you, Aedan, for doing today's ad. So have a great rest of your day, and if you liked today's video, please like and subscribe. We make content every month, and I'll see you next time when we do the Andrea Doria with Aedan. Alright, bye guys.